During the darkest days of my depression, I felt shameful. I felt ashamed because I had so many things to be grateful for: my family, my work, my health. But yet I couldn't stop feeling the deep sadness, frustration, anger. I even felt sorry for myself. And I was ashamed not only with my family and my friends and people that know me, but mainly I felt ashamed with God. So ashamed that even though it sounds ridiculous, I wanted to hide from him. I didn't have I didn't have the guts to face him because so many years prior I had been telling people to be brave, to be thankful. And here I was complaining about my life when everything seemed to be perfectly fine. And this was devastating to me because I really felt that I couldn't reach out to him. I really felt that I couldn't pray. I couldn't get myself to read his word. I knew it's impossible to hide, but that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to isolate myself from God and from everybody else as well. And it wasn't until I got over this that I really started making progress with the way that I was feeling. I think it started when I had a conversation with one of my younger brothers, and I was telling him how sad I felt, that all I wanted to do was lay in bed, cry, feel sorry for myself. Even the things that I would normally enjoy, like playing golf or exercising or spending time with my family, they just seemed so unimportant at the time. I just wanted to sit there in my sorrow. And my brother told me something that is simple, but it really made an impact. He told me it's okay to feel sad sometimes. Don't fight the feeling, just feel the sadness. Give yourself permission and give yourself the time to feel the things that you're feeling right now. There's no escaping it. And when he said it, it seemed so logical, but yet I had been spending so many days, weeks, months fighting against these feelings, trying to negotiate with myself why I should be feeling happy or why I should be feeling grateful or positive or anything else other than the sadness, frustration, and anger that I was feeling. And after he told me that it was okay to feel sad and to give myself permission to go through what I was going through, I gave it a shot because I had nothing else left in me to try or to do. And it was a lot of difficult days. I mean, it might have been weeks, even months of feeling this deep sadness, crying with things that were out of my control. I mean, I'd be sitting there in my office going through my work, and all of a sudden I would get this uncontrollable urge to just go into tears and cry like a little kid. But I had given myself permission to do this. I had given myself a green light to feel my sadness. And I would go through memories of my childhood with my parents. I would remember people that I have wronged, people that had wronged me, things that I thought I had forgotten about, things that I thought had healed in my heart already were coming back. And I started to realize that even though most of these things were things that I had already forgiven others for, I had never given myself the time or the permission to feel the pain that these things had brought. So even though I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't angry anymore with the things that had happened. I just hadn't given myself the time to process the pain. I don't know if it makes sense, but I thought I had gotten over these things, and I thought I had avoided the pain through distracting myself or focusing on other things. But it all caught up to me. It was like this giant flood of emotions that I just couldn't control. I had spent most of my adulthood life controlling my emotions, so much so that I think I felt proud about it. I think I felt proud about the fact that I didn't let my emotions control me, but I wasn't really controlling my emotions. I was avoiding them. I would face a situation that would make me angry or would make me sad. And rather than processing that anger or that sadness, I would move on to something else. I would move on to something else that would distract me from what I was going through. I knew I had the anger inside of me or the sadness inside of me. Eventually, it got to the point where I was able to forgive others. I never took the time to forgive myself, but that's a whole nother topic. The point is, all these things caught up to me, and I had been saving them for so long. I had been piling them inside of me for so long that I just ran out of space. I ran out of room. My body literally rebelled against itself or against me. I started having panic attacks. I was crying uncontrollably. There was nothing left in me that could hold this back any longer. And again, when I was talking to my brother on a different day, I told him, I took your advice and I'm giving myself the permission and the time to process all these things, but it's so hard. I don't know if I can keep doing this. It's been so many days now. I don't remember how many days had gone by, but I felt like it had taken forever. I remember thinking to myself and asking God, am I ever going to feel joy again? Am I ever going to finish processing all this sadness, all this anger, all this frustration? My family's right outside this room waiting for me to spend time with them, to enjoy my days with them. Is that ever going to happen again? So as I was talking to my brother, I told him, that I was following his advice, but it was just so difficult. I didn't know if I could hang on. And he told me that from his experience, that's what happens when you hold on to things for so long. It's like a dam that breaks, and all of a sudden the water just rushes through the broken dam with nothing holding it back. But eventually it passes. I can't really tell you how long it takes because I think it's different for everyone, but eventually it will pass. And eventually you'll get back to a place where it will feel normal. And you'll still get angry and you'll still get sad, but hopefully from this experience you'll learn to give yourself the time to stop and process those things as they come up. Because the problem isn't feeling the sadness, the anger, the frustration. The problem is holding it back, piling it on inside of yourself, and then letting it get out of control again. So again, controlling my emotions, as I learned, wasn't distracting myself from them or avoiding them completely. It was stopping to take the time to process them, to feel the pain, to feel the anger, the sadness, whatever uncomfortable emotion you're going through, and then moving on with your day. It might take you depending on your emotional intelligence or whatever you want to call it, it might take you a few hours, it might take you a few days to process the experience, but you're not going to be saving it so that you have to go through a 6 month, 1 year, 2 year depression later on. And it's hard. I mean, it's difficult. It's still challenging for me, but I consciously make the effort to feel these uncomfortable things as they come up. After the flood of all these negative emotions that I had to experience, I came to the realization that it was nothing to be ashamed of. I picked up the Bible, and as I was reading, I came up on the verse where Jesus cried because his close friend, had just passed away. And it literally says Jesus cried. And it hit me. It hit me like cold water to my face. God came to this earth as a man to experience life as we experience it. You know, when Jesus walked in this earth, he felt sadness, he felt anger, I'm sure he felt frustration. He knows better than anybody else the things that we go through. And he knows that this life is not easy. Even if we want to pretend that it is, he knows that life can be difficult sometimes. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. He's always waiting there for us with open arms, waiting to comfort us, to give us strength, to give us faith. You know, hundreds of times or many times in the Bible it says, do not fear or fear not. And I don't think it's a commandment or an order that he's giving us. I think he's telling us not to fear because he knows we're going to be fearful as we go through life. And he's trying to build courage into us, letting us know that he's always there for us and that he's never going to let us fall into harm's way without him being there to protect us. You know, a friend told me one day that, you know, the bullets can get close to us. It'll feel like you're in danger. It'll feel like you're going to get shot, but he won't let the bullets hit you. So after I went through this flood of emotions and I read the Bible again, I was able to go into prayer again. And for the first time in a long time, I felt joy. For the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. You know, the sadness and the anger and the frustration didn't magically go away, but there was a small shred of peace and faith and hope and joy in my life. And I grabbed onto that small piece that I felt. I grabbed onto it and I kept going. And that's what I'm doing right now. I mean, I'm grateful to say that I'm able to enjoy time with my family again. I'm able to enjoy time with God. I'm able to enjoy time with myself. I'm able to spend time doing the things that bring me joy. And even though my life isn't perfect, even though from time to time I still get, you know, moments of uncomfortable emotions, I no longer feel like they've taken over my life. I no longer feel like I've lost control. I no longer feel shameful. I feel vulnerable sometimes because I understand it's not easy putting yourself out there. I mean, we have this expectation of ourselves, or this expectation that we think society has on us, to always be positive, to always be happy. When somebody asks you, "How are you today?" Usually the standard answer is, "I'm fine," or "I'm great, thank you." Rarely do we really share the way that we're feeling or what we're going through. That's another thing that I discovered is as I felt more comfortable opening up to the people that I loved, my wife, my kids, my parents, even opening up to strangers, I realized that we're all going through our own battle. We all wear this mask in front of people to pretend or to make us feel that things are fine, but I haven't come across a single person who is honest with me and honest with themselves who isn't going through their own struggle. Obviously, different people deal with things in different ways, depending on their spiritual strength or emotional intelligence or whatever you believe in. But at the end of the day, everybody is going through a struggle, or everybody has gone through a struggle or a battle. And I found out that when I open up, that makes others comfortable enough to open up as well. And even though, I can tell you that the thought of taking my own life never came across my head. I never thought about it because I know the importance of my life, and I know that it's a gift from God. And then I think I would never think about taking my own life. But in my darkest hours, I could understand why some people will end up in those thoughts, or why some people end up down that dark path. I went through this knowing God. I went through this with a strong wife that always supported me, with my kids. That when my 4-year-old would notice that I was crying or that I was sad, she would run to me and hug me. I went through this with all these positive things in my life, and I still felt so horrible that I would think about the people that go through this feeling like they're alone, feeling like they have nobody that cares for them, that nobody would even notice if they were gone. And I can understand why they would come to these thoughts of taking their own lives. But the truth is, nobody's alone. Nobody is alone. God will never leave you. If you read in the Bible, it says, even if your mom and dad leave you and abandon you, I will always be there with you. I will always be there by your side. And I understand that a lot of people don't have that relationship or that connection with God, but I urge you that if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling like nobody else cares about you, reach out to Him. Just reach out to Him. He's always waiting. He doesn't care what you've done, where you've been. He doesn't care about your past. He doesn't care about the things that you're doing now. A lot of people will tell you that you have to stop drinking, or you have to stop smoking, or you have to dress a certain way, or you have to speak a certain way. It's all bogus. It's all reflections of how they feel themselves, but it's not a reflection of how God feels. God says, come as you are. Come as you are today. He'll redeem you. You won't ever be the same ever again. But you don't have to change to go to Him. You'll change because you want to change once you know who your Heavenly Father is. I don't know exactly how much of this recording will make the cut, I have no script today. I have no structure for the video. I woke up and I didn't feel like recording today. I didn't feel like making a video. I constantly have to remind myself why I'm doing this. And the reality is I'm doing this for myself more than anything else. It's something that I feel, or I believe, the Holy Spirit has put on me for a long time now, because it wasn't like I woke up one day thinking, oh, I'm going to make YouTube videos. No. The thought came to my mind years ago. I stopped, procrastinated for a long time. So I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for my kid, for my son, who, one day he's going to be a man. And I pray to God that I'm there to be able to guide him, to be able to guide his steps if he ever goes through a similar experience. I mean, I know that God will be there for him just like God's always there for me. But I really pray that I'm able to be there for him so he knows that he's not alone. But I'm also talking to him through these videos. Talking to him and anybody else out there. I mean, if anybody could get any value out of this, great. But I have to remind myself that I'm not doing this for the popularity, for the YouTube metrics. I'm doing it because I feel that it's part of my calling. And only God knows exactly what the purpose of going through this is. But if you stuck around till the end of the video, thank you very much for watching this today. God bless you. I hope you have a great day. We'll talk again soon.